Hey guys, hello. It is Dr. Jen. Good Monday evening to all of you. It's great to see you. I am home from work. We are ready to start our Monday night live. There is a lot to talk about, guys. I am glad that you are here. Okay, let's just jump right in. You guys know I'm Dr. Jen Caudle. I'm a practicing family physician, an on-air health expert, and video creator. Today, we are going to be talking about literally just how contagious Delta variant is. I think it's really important to note, as you all know, mask mandates, well, they're not really mandates, but mask recommendations are standing where the CDC is recommending that if you live in an area of substantial or high transmission, regardless of vaccination status, you should be wearing a mask indoors. Of course, people who are unvaccinated should have always been wearing a mask, but they're recommending that people who are vaccinated wear a mask indoors. By the way, if you guys have not seen the map of the United States, the CDC map that shows the colors to see who is high or substantial transmission, it is essentially the entire country at this point, guys. This Delta variant is no joke. I'm going to tell you just how contagious it is. It might surprise you because it's really a game changer. We have been talking about how it's a game changer, but you know what, guys, it really is. I do these videos to relay information and try to help us all understand and what we're dealing with. Delta variant is a deal. This is a thing. Couple statistics. Okay, let me give you these, and then I'm going to talk to you about specifically how contagious Delta variant is, because you should know this. But these are statistics that were given by the CDC today during their White House press briefing, their COVID task force press briefing. I listened to that on my way home from the office this evening because I wanted to bring you live information about the latest updates. So what was said, you should know this, over the past few weeks, starting over here, the 7-day average of cases is 72,000 cases per day. Guys, 72,000 COVID cases per day. This is an increase of 44% from our prior 7-day average. 72,000 cases per day. Dr. Rochelle Walensky said that these numbers are higher than the peak that we had last summer. We thought things were bad last summer. I mean, this summer is like, hold my beer, okay? This is not a joke. 7-day case average is 72,000 cases per day, an increase of 54% from the prior 7-day average. Not just that, our hospital admissions are up as well. Okay, 6,200 hospital admissions per day. That's a 41% increase over our prior 7-day average. What's the trend here? Everything is up. Cases are up. When cases are up, hospitalizations go up. When hospitalizations go up, you know what goes up next, right? That is deaths. We also know that deaths lag behind hospitalizations, which lags behind cases. Cases are up 300 deaths per day. This is a 25% increase from the previous 7-day period. Guys, I think that's going to get higher. I think these numbers are going to increase even higher. Okay, we are starting to see really the crux of what our scientists and healthcare, public health officials, and our researchers have been warning us about. This, guys, is a big deal. And not only that, let's talk about just how contagious the Delta variant is. And by the way, it is very contagious. I'm seeing many of you writing in that your towns, your cities have put in place mask mandates. We are hearing that more and more companies are requiring vaccination status attestation, meaning you have to attest to your vaccination status. If you've not gotten the vaccine, in many places, you need to mask up everywhere, anywhere. Some companies are saying you can't travel on behalf of them if you're not vaccinated. In addition to that, you have to undergo weekly, bi-weekly testing, depending on what the case is. There's now on the table discussion of veterans organizations, literally all over the sphere. I'm at Rowan University. We just got emails today. We are back to wearing masks indoors in buildings that are not healthcare related. We have to show proof of vaccination. Things are changing. Things are changing fast. They really are. Every single day. This time for me feels a little bit like it did back in maybe March, April, where like literally every day we were seeing a huge hike, a huge spike in cases, and almost a whirlwind change in what the language we were talking about was. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this to let you know that if you're still on the fence about getting the vaccine, if you are still a bit reluctant, if you're still downplaying this, you really should stop, because this is not a joke. Cases in places that have not had cases, to the extent that they are now, are having them now. Florida is being ravaged by cases. Texas being ravaged. There's statistics that I can rattle off and keep going and going and going. But let me tell you what the title of this video is about, because I think this is important to understand just how much more contagious is this Delta variant than is the Alpha variant. When we talk about Alpha variant, Alpha is the original. Alpha, that was the original Corona. That was Corona Part 1. COVID senior, okay? The first. COVID the first. That was the COVID that we hated, we couldn't stand, we were mad at, but you know what? To our chagrin, there's actually a worse COVID, okay? And that's Delta. So as much and as bad as we thought Alpha was, Delta comes along. Delta's like, hold my beer. That's literally what it's saying, okay? So Alpha variant was our initial COVID that was last year. Okay, that was the COVID that many of our studies and many of our vaccine studies were based on, especially the early ones. Delta is the new guy or gal in town. So the Alpha variant, which is original COVID, not good because COVID's not good, but better than Delta. Alpha. If you are infected with the Alpha variant, and listen very closely, because this is where right now is where I'm going to tell you just how much more contagious Delta variant is than Alpha variant. Alpha variant. If you contract Alpha variant of COVID, initial COVID, you could potentially infect 2 additional other unvaccinated people. Okay? Meaning that's how contagious it is you got Alpha, you could potentially infect 2 other people around you that are unvaccinated. Delta, hold my beer, comes along and is like, oh, let me show you something. Let me show you what I can do. Delta variant. If you're infected with Delta variant, you could potentially infect up to 5 other unvaccinated people. Does that make sense? You see the picture. Alpha is not as contagious, which means it cannot infect as many people as quickly, as rapidly, as easily as Delta. So Alpha, who, by the way, we thought was bad COVID, but is a piece of cakewalk COVID compared to Delta, can only infect roughly 2 other unvaccinated people that are around it. Delta, on the other hand, comes in the room and is like, but bam, I'm here. And it can infect 5 people around it that are unvaccinated. Why? Because it's that much more contagious. What does that mean? It means it is more easily spread. It can travel from person to person easily, perhaps more quickly, perhaps more efficiently, perhaps with less viral particles, perhaps with less time being around the other person. There's so many different variables that may be existing here. But Alpha, 2 people it'll infect. Delta, 5 people. That's over double what Alpha can do. It's one of the reasons why we're seeing cases skyrocket literally through the roof. Now on the map, the CDC map, all the states are pretty much red, and dark orange. Few states at the top are yellow. God bless them. Hang on to that, guys. Hang on to that with all your might. But the rest of us, we're in dark red. We are in dark orange because Delta is flying through our country. And we are hearing about more and more and more people who are getting infected with COVID. So that's a little bit about how much more contagious Delta is. If you thought that you're just going to wait this out and you're just going to give it some time, etc., you're in denial. You are. You're in denial about this. This is not the same COVID that we had before. We shouldn't have been in denial about the last COVID, but I'm just saying this is not the COVID to be in denial about. Okay. I do want to give you some good news, though, because you know me. As much as I can be a Debbie Downer with all this COVID vaccine news and COVID news and Delta news, there is often some lights at the end of the tunnel. And I mentioned in the beginning, our 7-day case average is 72,000 cases per day. Dr. Rochelle Walensky said that is higher than the peak at which we were last summer. It's a shame. But there's good news. So let's talk about this. Over the past few weeks, there's been a 70% increase in the average number of people getting vaccinated each day. That's pretty amazing. So what's happening is we're listening. Not everybody is listening. Not everybody is heeding this warning, but a lot of you are. And a lot of you are going out and getting vaccinated to the tune of a 70% increase in the average number of new people getting vaccinated each day. That has happened over the last few weeks. And that, by the way, rock stars, is pretty freaking amazing. Pat yourselves on the back. By the way, join my group called I Got the COVID Vaccine. It's in the pinned comments on Facebook, on YouTube. You can find it in the description of this video. Go ahead and request to join. I'll accept you right after this video. Share your vaccination story. Show us your smile, your shot, your Band-Aid. If you got concerns, tell us those too. We're here to help. But you got this and you're doing this. Number 2, in the last 7 days, 3 million Americans have gotten their first shot. What? Yes. Okay. It's not nearly where we need to be, but it's better than what we've been doing. And I'll take that to start. As of today, there are at least 70% of Americans that have at least one vaccine in their arm. A lot better than what we had before, isn't it? And this is encouraging news. Some of the states that have the highest case rates, and we know some of those states, the highest daily case rates have daily vaccination rates that have more than doubled. So in states where the cases are super, super high, and let's just be very honest, a lot of these are southern states. In a lot of these states where cases are super, super high, these are also states that are having really super increasing rates of people getting vaccinated. That means that people on the ground in these states are looking around them and saying, oh, hell no, that ain't gonna be me. And thank God for that. They're going out and getting vaccinated. And I would suggest you do the same. You know, Americans are getting vaccinated. But once again, I'm going to go back to what I told you before about how contagious Delta is. Alpha variant, that was our first COVID. Didn't like him, but you know, he infects about 2 people that are unvaccinated around him. Delta is the hold my beer COVID. Infects 5 people or so around Delta. 5 people who are unvaccinated. It is much more highly transmissible, more highly contagious. I'm going to take a break right here and welcome you guys. By the way, thank you guys for joining me. I'm Dr. Jen Caudle, practicing family physician. I'm an on-air health expert and video creator. There's a lot of you guys on tonight because I know you guys see the news. You see the peaks. I have the news on right now. Literally, Louisiana governor reinstates mask mandate. We are seeing people getting COVID left and right. People who have gotten vaccinated who are getting COVID. Emmett, you just sent a super sticker. Thank you so much. You said, in your opinion, would you say the risk of taking the vaccine is no different than taking any other prescription drug? What I would say is that the risk of the vaccine is not necessarily, in my opinion, is not necessarily any higher than the risk of taking any other vaccine, so long as you don't have any absolute contraindications to it, meaning you don't have an absolute allergy to it or something else. Remember, we have all been vaccinated to some degree, mostly. To go to school in this country, most of us had to get vaccinated. I don't believe the risk to this vaccine or taking of this vaccine is much more, if any at all. I don't think the risk is higher than vaccines you've already taken. You've gotten measles, mumps, and rubella. You've gotten tetanus. Many of you gotten the shingles vaccines, pneumonia vaccines, the childhood vaccines, hepatitis vaccines. Your kids have too. Your kids have too. So the question is, which side of this do you want to be on? There's risk no matter what. Nobody ever said that this was a risk-free proposition. COVID, there's risk. COVID, the risk is getting COVID. Getting vaccinated, what are the risks there? Well, vaccinations aren't 100%. Even getting vaccinated, you could still get COVID. We're seeing that. They're not 100%, but nothing's 100%. The flu vaccine's not 100%. You can still get the flu when you got the flu vaccine. Y'all know that. We've known that. So the idea of breakthrough infections or getting infected with COVID, even though you've gotten vaccinated, should not be too alarming because we never said the vaccines were 100%. We do know that these vaccines, if you get them, they largely protect you from dying from COVID if you were to get it. And that, folks, is the name of the game. They protect you from being intubated largely, having a breathing tube being stuck down your throat, being in the hospital and dying from COVID. That is largely what these vaccines do. And that's a hell of a deal, if you ask me. So that even if you do get an infection of COVID on top of being vaccinated, which by the way is rare, I'll do another video on that because there's new data to talk about. And I'll do a video on that soon. Even though it's rare, the likelihood is that you're going to get the sniffles. You're going to get a headache. You're going to get a little stuffy nose. And that's a lot better than dying or being hospitalized. That's what these vaccines protect against. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, which side of this do you want to be on? There's risk either way. There's risk either way. Get the vaccine, may not be 100%. Get the vaccine, you're very likely going to have some of the side effects that we all do. Side effects meaning the reaction that happens from getting the vaccine, the reaction from the vaccine working in your body. You might get fevers, chills, feel a little punky, things like that. That's not unusual. You can get that with the flu shot. Sore arm, it happens with any injection I ever get and have ever gotten. But that's, to me, seems like a lot better proposition than taking the risk of possibly getting COVID and ending up on a ventilator. Because you don't have to have underlying medical conditions and you don't have to be super sick to end up on a ventilator. You just have to have COVID. Because COVID does crazy things. It's not predictable. And if you think you can outsmart it, I think that this pandemic has taught us that we're not able to. Let me take that back. We're not able to predict. However, we have a vaccine, and our vaccines are pretty darn good assurance that you won't end up hospitalized or dead, and that your family members won't either. That's the risk you have to ask yourself, rather than focusing on, well, I don't know what these vaccines are. Well, did you know what MMR was when you took it? Not being smart, just being real. Did you know what Tdap was? Did you know about that? Did you know all the ingredients? Like people are asking me, what are the ingredients? By the way, they're online. Did you know all that when you took it? No, what you knew was that the benefits of getting the vaccine outweighed the risks. And this is no different. So we can choose to pull hairs, split hairs, pull apart things. Or we can choose to get the vaccine and not die from this. Right? Don't play around with your lives. Don't play around with your kids' lives, your family members' lives. And I'm not trying to do this, but this is real stuff you have to ask yourself. How would you feel if someone you know and loved got sick with COVID and didn't fare well, and you told them not to get vaccinated? I'm not saying they listened to you, but what if you had a role in that? Or what if that was what you expressed? How would you feel? Somebody might say that this is a little bit too low, this is a low blow, but really these are actually the morality questions that we have to ask ourselves, because that's the level at which this is. That's really what this is about. It's not about someone trying to tell you what to do. It's not about the government trying to control you. It's not about free choice. Lord knows we have free choice. Plenty of people haven't gotten the vaccine. Duh. But the question is, do you really want to be carrying the flag of free choice when you could die from the consequence of that so-called free choice that you choose to implement in this particular situation and not in so many others? Because by the way, we still wear seatbelts. Still do that, right? Still carry around driver's license. They make you have a driver's license. Somebody can say, well, that's free choice. They're taking away my free choice. You've done that. Just like on airplanes, you follow those rules. So this is not much different. We follow rules everywhere. My guidance is, and my advice is to get vaccinated. I always say I'm not going to go down a whole rabbit hole, but I end up doing that every time I get on with you guys because I care. We can't have any more people dying. Hospitals are filling up again. People are dying. Hospital workers, doctors are tired. I'm worried about the winter where I'm going to have patients that have the sniffles and I'm not going to know if it's COVID or if it's going to be the flu. I'm worried about people getting sick. I am masking up when I go out now. You need to as well. And I would say regardless of what part of the country you're in, you need to mask up, period. Done and done, period. And you need to get vaccinated. By the way, I want to thank all of you guys for sending stars. You guys are amazing. I love that. We're going to do a little like levity break here and bring the mood up just a little bit, kind of like the DJ, who changes it up with another song. You're like, oh, yeah, it's my jam. After there's been a little bit of a somber moment. And it's all in love. I had to tell a patient tonight when I saw her, I get stern when I get scared. The sternness is not out of lack of empathy. It's usually too much. I get scared. I'm scared for us right now, guys. I am. Because there are people who are saying that this is worse than it was the first time in many ways. And now we have people that are literally saying, no, don't wear a mask. I'm worried about kids going back to school. Kids can't be vaccinated yet. So we have to get vaccinated for them who can't be. So let me take some questions. You want me to take some questions? Let's take some questions, okay? Because I know you guys are asking questions. You guys have been amazing. Listen to my rants over here. Let's see here. Why can't people with compromised immune systems get the shot? I just don't understand. Well, it's not the case that people with compromised immune systems can't get the shot. There are many people with compromised immune systems that can get the shot. In fact, according to the CDC, people with HIV and certain underlying medical conditions, I have a video on that about, can you get the vaccine if you have a weakened immune system? You absolutely can in many situations. If your doctor has explicitly told you can't, then that's your situation. You deal with your doctor. That's important. But a weakened immune system does not mean you can't get the shot. On the contrary, we need people with weakened immune systems to get the shot. And in fact, a booster may be more readily available for you all with weakened immune systems before the rest of us, based on data that may or may not be coming out. At least many scientists have been sort of alluding to that. Okay. Let me see what other questions we have here. What else we got here? Questions, comments. All right, let's take a peek. We're going to Facebook for just a moment. You guys are awesome. It's been neat. Somebody just posted that they've been living with genital herpes for a long time. I'm going to block them because I have a feeling that's spam. What do you think? Yeah, spam. Okay. Nisi Rock says, sorry, you doctors are full of it. The government got y'all trying to kill us. Well, sorry that you feel that way, but we're not trying to kill anyone. The government's not trying to kill anyone. What will kill people is COVID. And the denial of that is really the denying of this real pandemic that we have. That is what truly is deadly. So I'm sorry that you feel that way. I wish you didn't. It's not personal to me. Suzanne Marie, you got vaccinated. Whoop, whoop. Hey, can we do my favorite part of lives? Can you put like a comment? Can you put a thumbs up in the comments, your favorite emoji, smiley face, star, whatever, in the comments if you got vaccinated? Whoop, whoop. And do it even if you're planning to get vaccinated. We're going to include those who are planning to get vaccinated. That's what I am talking about. Janice Hardy, how long do antibodies last after you've had COVID? It's difficult to say. That's the reason why we ask people to get vaccinated. It's really hard to predict, and we don't fully know how long antibodies will last and how strong that protection will be for. And of course, everyone is different. So that's why you still need to get vaccinated, even if you've gotten COVID. Let's see here. Tyra, you said you got the vaccine and you're immunocompromised. Yes. One of you just asked, can you breastfeed and get the vaccine? Yes. Can you be pregnant and get the vaccine? That is a yes. Can and should kids get the vaccine who are 12 and above? Yes. Even despite the heart inflammation, Dr. Jen? Yes. Okay, I've done some videos on it. Please, please, please take that to heart. If you are asthmatic, can you get the vaccine? Yes. Once again, I am not your doctor. Medical disclaimer. These are according to the CDC, that these conditions that I'm responding to are conditions that the CDC has listed are okay to get the vaccine with. For your personal situation, talk to your doctor. There are very few circumstances, however, in which someone cannot and should not get the vaccine. Do not assume because you have high blood pressure or something like that you can't get it. That is not the case. Okay. All righty. Valerie, you got your first vaccine. There's comments are going by so fast, and I can't even really read them all. For those of you who send stars, by the way, if you have questions, I will respond to you personally after this live. Rachel, you're getting your vaccine tomorrow. Make sure you join my group. I got the COVID vaccine to let us know that you're getting the vaccine so we can cheer you on. Also, I have I got the COVID vaccine shirts that are available on my website. I donate a portion of the proceeds to the Red Cross. It's a way of showing your Pride. You can find that link on the pinned comment. And also, I have a free health newsletter if you guys are interested. Comes out 1 to 2 times a week, depending on what news is going on. You can sign up at drjencaudle.com. It's free, okay? Glenn, you said the CDC is doing a horrible job communicating. I definitely think that there's a number of issues going on. I think one of the things that's been really hard is that COVID has kept changing over and over and over again. And I think regardless of how well an organization has communicated, I think in an environment where things have changed every day almost, any organization could literally seem as though they're doing a bad job. That's one thing. I also do think that, yes, there's probably some improvements that the CDC could have had and could make in their communication skills. But the truth of the matter is, I don't blame them. I don't. And I trust them. I do. And I think they are doing good for the people. I do. And I trust Fauci and Dr. Walensky. And I think that communications from the CDC has improved. Remember, the CDC, we weren't really even allowed to hear from them before the recent election. We didn't hear from them hardly at all. So I say what's happening now is a huge improvement, albeit not perfect. But honey, what's perfect? What's perfect anymore? Like nothing. Vaccine's not even perfect. So the point being is, yes, I understand this. Are public pools safe? Being in water is safe regarding COVID. The problem is the people that you are around. The problem is the people outside the pool that you may be breathing on or whatever. The people in the locker room that you might be touching and breathing on. The people in the pool that you might be touching and breathing on. The problem is not the water. In fact, remember, being outdoors is safer than being indoors. The problem is the people that you're around, okay? All right, guys. Get your COVID vaccines. Get them. Join my group called I Got the COVID Vaccine. Let us know you got it. Let's cheer you on. Let's shout you out. Let's praise you and sing your praises, okay? Make sure if you've not already commented that you got the vaccine, please do that so we can send up a like for you. Join my groups. I've got them in the pinned comment and my free health newsletter at drjencaudle.com. Guys, I see there's lots of questions. I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. I love you. You are amazing. Get vaccinated. Do not play with this Delta mess. Hear me? Don't play with it. Okay, I'll see you soon. Love you. All right, YouTube. Love y'all, babes. Talk to you soon. Hey, guys. Hello.